Is lying bad? And are there alternatives for those of us that are trying to no longer lie, but we don't want to hurt people's feelings either? What can we do? Welcome to Remind Us. My name is Aiden, and today I am covering lying. We have all done that, whether it's a little white lie or a flat out whole story where just nothing is true. I was young and I remember that I would lie quite a bit. And in hindsight, I think most of it I did because I didn't want to get in trouble. And at the same time, I knew that if I spoke the truth, I was in trouble. So, you see, back in the day, there was usually a physical punishment waiting if you did something that was considered bad. I mean, lying was one of those things. If you lied, you got a smack on your butt, or. I kind of don't think I remember in school where the teacher would smack your fingers with a ruler, but I don't think that was far from the days of my school days because these rulers were still in the school. I remember that, and I still heard the teachers speak stories like that. So yeah, I guess we got lucky there. But you see, we built this mental idea that lying will get us out of a punishment, get us out of trouble, avoid trouble maybe, even if just for a short while. That's why I wanted to make a video about it. So I want to make an example first that shows perfectly how I finally concluded, yeah, like maybe lying is overrated. I get it. Most of us, we lie because we don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. We know they did something nice for us, for example, and we don't want to make them feel like it's not appreciated. I'll give you a very simple example. Every year, you probably have a family dinner, whether it is Christmas, Thanksgiving, things like that. And when I came to America, I had to deal with all sorts of eating habits that I was not familiar with. So that took getting used. I had to get used to that, obviously. So here is what happened quite often. With my first wife at the time, we would go to her mom for Thanksgiving dinner, and they would make dinner. And since I was a guest, they would frequently ask me, "Are you enjoying the food? Are you enjoying the food?" Now, here is why I did not lie. If I had said, "Yes, I love this food," to spare their feelings, guess what's going to happen by default next Thanksgiving? Oh my God, he loved the food. We have to make it again because he enjoyed it. You see, you give these people the illusion that you absolutely love the food, and guess what? As a reward, you're gonna get that same food next Thanksgiving. Let's face it, most holidays, the food is almost always the same thing: turkey, mashed potatoes, some green beans, and some simple side dishes with some sauces and whatnot. See what I mean? Like, I prefer vegetables, like either raw or lightly steamed. I'm not big on foods that are cooked, so nothing nutritional is left in there. You know what I mean? Like, so you see here how the lie was only done for sparing these people's feeling. Like, I want them to appreciate that they cooked for me, but at the same time, I also want them to understand I'm from a different country. I have different eating habits, and obviously the food was good, but if there is a choice, could we try something else next Thanksgiving, for example? So that is one of the first examples that I actually came up with. Like, yeah, this is something all of us do. We go to family dinner. and we tell them, wow, this food was amazing, just to make sure that, the the person that's hosting the family dinner feels good and great and validated and respected. So what do I do? Do I say, oh, this food was no good, don't serve this again in the future? Well, God, no. The food, I appreciate that they cooked. Excuse me. I appreciate that they cooked and served dinner and provided a space for the family to hang out. But what I do is I simply say, I enjoyed this food, but I personally prefer lightly cooked vegetables or steamed. I'm not a big fan of fried foods. You see, I'm simply saying I enjoyed these foods, but your food was also good. So you see that maybe next year they might still have the normal dinner, but they might have a couple of side dishes that are what I described. Just simply like a veggie tray, even. That would be, what, $10, and that's great for me. I love dipping my veggies in a little bit of sauce, or just raw with nothing, eat them and snack on them. I love that. So you see, this is a simple lie that you can avoid, and yet all of us do it. I'll give you a little joke. What is the biggest lie told all over the world? I'm fine. When somebody walks past you and they said, how you doing? Most people just reply, I'm fine. That is the biggest lie told on this planet. I like that because it's true. Like, why do we say I'm fine? Simply because we don't want to get into a conversation at all, whether it's a stranger or a coworker, even a family member, our best friend. We just say I'm fine because we don't want to get into it. We don't want someone prodding our personal space, our thoughts, our insecurities. So we just say I'm fine. Funny, right? That's the biggest lie ever told. I can't prove that on statistical graphs, but I remember reading that somewhere. I'm like, yeah, I think I say I'm fine quite often too, and knowing fully well I'm not having the greatest day. But when your boss asks you how you're doing, you're not gonna say, oh, my job sucks. Because my customers are holding me up, like everything is going slow today, I can't stand it. I mean, I do that now, but back before I started rethinking everything I'm doing in my life, which included lying, I decided no more. Either people get nothing from me or they get the truth, or at least as much truth as I can give them. But yeah, so think about that. Next time somebody asks you how you doing and you say I'm fine, ask yourself, are you really fine? So why should we try to no longer lie? You see, it actually takes mental effort to remember all your lies. Because you see, your lie will only work so long until somebody starts to poke holes in it. And you have only one choice at that point: fill the holes with more lies. And what's going to happen is you got to remember everything you said, because every time you get called on the spot, if you cannot recall your lies correctly, guess what's going to happen? You're going to start saying things that are inconsistent, and people are going to figure out you are not being truthful. That is what it really boils down to. And as far as I am concerned, yes, it really is a mental weight. Even if you are not lying for a few weeks, you have told lies in the past, and these people that have heard your lies are walking around with these stories in their head, believing that they are true. So whenever they talk to you in the future, they're going to talk about things that you have spoken about, which were lies. So you see why this is a mental weight that will drag you down over time. Lies can only work so long until somebody starts questioning them. Then everything explodes sooner or later. You can keep adding lies to your lies, but believe me, you're going to lose all your friends and everybody that enjoys talking to you or that you enjoy talking to. Something to think about. So, yes, I would lie when I was a kid to avoid my trouble. I think I started my video with that. I'm sorry. I have a little list here of the things that I want to cover on lies, but see, my parents used to send me to all these clubs. Like I went to art academy, I went to swimming school, kayak school, Boy Scouts, and the biggest lie that I remember doing all that time was I would, first of all, just flat out flunk. I would not go. I rode my bicycle everywhere, so I wasn't being dropped off anywhere. So it was my responsibility to drive myself to, say, Boy Scouts, spend the whole day there, and then cycle myself back home. And, see, more or less. And I didn't necessarily go and do, vandalism or whatever teenage kids do when they're being mischievous. I mean, I was no saint either when I was a kid, of course. I had my fun and little stupidities. But I would flunk out of these classes quite a bit. I would say 1 out of 4. I just wouldn't go. And then I would go home in the evening and say, oh, yes, it was fun in Boy Scout. I think we all went to the park for the day and we made forts in the trees with like skits and old carpets that we found all over the place. So I would make up a story as what we did in Boy Scout, for example, knowing it was a complete lie, just so I wouldn't get questioned any further. Like, they assume 1, I went to Boy Scouts. 2, since I said what we did in Boy Scouts, there is nothing left to question. So I just went with that. And even then, I guess I kind of knew that all it would have taken back then was, my parents calling the Scouts leaders and saying, hey, was he there today? Or the other way around, they call my parents saying, hey, why is he not showing up half the time? So you see, your lie only works until somebody figures it out. And then you have double trouble. Not only are you going to have to confess that you lied the whole time or most of the time, now you're also going to have to explain where were you when you were not in Boy Scouts. And here again, you are presented with a choice. Are you going to lie and say, I was right next to the Boy Scouts. I just took a couple of comic books and I just read them on the side. Like I didn't want to participate. Or in my case, I would go to the park or down in the city even. Back then iPhones and internet was not a thing. I went to the CD store where you could listen to 30-second track samples of good music or whatever CD you wanted to buy. You could listen to 30 seconds of each song. So I could spend hours doing that. I don't know why. Like in my late teenage years, I was actually a DJ for a little bit. Nothing professional, just in my own room. For example, I had a few hundred vinyls, like all the club music I used to enjoy, and some really big speakers. Like I had a whole wall full of speakers and amplifier, all that stuff. So yeah, music was actually pretty big for me back then. But you see, the lies are going to catch up with you eventually. So, are white lies okay to avoid hurting somebody's feelings? See, now this goes towards, are you fine? I'm fine. I mean, how you doing? I'm fine. That's technically a white lie too. You're not trying to hurt anybody's feeling. You're not hiding anything really. You're just giving a reply to the most common asked question, first of all, which gives you the most common answer. I'm fine. But white lies, and I don't know why a color is related to this, but let's go with this. White lies, what are they? They are silly little things that we just say to spare everybody's feeling and usually to cut a conversation short before it even begins. I personally don't really do the white lies anymore either. I'm not even sure why anymore. Like, I don't care for giving people, I don't want to say a fake feeling of comfort. Not really. I'm just always myself. If I appreciate you, I will tell you what I appreciate in the moment, but I'm not going to say things just for the sake of saying them when they're not really true. So, are white lies okay? Again, I personally do my best not even to bother with that. I'm going to cover this later in this video, but I try hard to either say nothing or flat out speak the truth. You see, we hurt people. Okay, that's actually a subject for later. But let me just go there now. We hurt people by lying. And you could quickly argue we hurt people by speaking the truth also. What's the difference? A person is going to get hurt, whether you speak the truth or you're lying. I'll tell you what the difference is. You are trying to work on yourself. If you want to make a real effort at stopping your lies, including white lies, it's better that you just speak the truth. Like I just said, if someone's going to get hurt, whether you speak the truth or a lie, speak the truth, because in the end, your mental space is cleared immediately. If they ask you more questions after you speak the truth, there is nothing left to say because you spoke the truth already. And if they don't want to believe you, let it be. If you said what happened or what you wanted to say, what was on your mind, and try not to be a jerk when you do these things, just say the simple truth. In a non-insulting way. Just very politely say what you were up to, say what you were thinking, whichever it is. And in the end, your mind will be clear. And yes, the other person might not like what you said. I understand that. But at least that person now knows the truth and he can base his future decisions, future topics to speak about on the truth rather than nonsense that you made up. Again, remember what I said, Christmas dinner. Don't just flat out say it was the best dinner I ever had. Guess what? You're gonna keep getting served this same dinner because you enjoyed it. Did not, obviously, but I mean, you did, but you prefer healthier foods or whatever, something to your taste buds. So, see, I personally feel always speaking the truth, it just somehow sets you free. And I said that earlier, it's a mental state. The baggage starts to fall out of your head. You no longer have to make things up as you live your life. You speak the truth wherever you go, and people can instantly base their opinion of you on a few lines that you have spoken. And guess what? If they don't like it, great. You spoke the truth, so you were true to yourself. And if they don't like that and they want to stay away, well, that's great. Because clearly you're not going to get along if they don't like you for you. Again, if you lie, you're presenting false images and you're also attracting people that you're probably going to have very little in common with. There's plenty of fake people out there. I personally try very hard to stay away from people like that. I am not into backstabbing, back talking, all this, chatter online and whatnot. Like it just drives me crazy. People just are not themselves, and I can feel it like intuitively. I'm very I have a my heart connection is really strong when there are lies in the air, when people are speaking lies, or even if they're exaggerating, which is also a form of lying. I just feel that there is nothing genuine in the air. Like, I don't know how to explain that, but that's how I'm going to say it. There is nothing genuine in the air. I can feel it. And when I have that feeling, I don't know what to do anymore. So my usual reaction is to just let it go. Like, don't even participate in the conversation. Like, I'm just ready to leave. Whatever is going on, wherever I am, if people aren't going to be genuine and I'm trying to live a genuine life, what am I doing here? I don't know if I'll be with family. I mean, if it is, and sure, I'm going to, for the etiquette of it, just stay a few hours so, everybody that wanted to see me and talk to me has a chance to do so. But I'm not going to stick longer than needed because I can't tolerate that kind of heaviness in the air. Like, I don't know. It's a pollution, I swear to God. Like, okay, so alternatives for lying. Yeah. There is no alternative for lying. Speaking the truth is the opposite of lying. It's not an alternative. But I'm going to make a disclaimer here. If you find yourself in court with a lawyer, it's probably a very good idea that you are loudly lying, because we all know the judicial system destroys any justice. You remember that quote? Doctors destroy health, lawyers destroy justice, or courts destroy justice. There's a whole list of things that were basically the institute that was designed for a specific thing is achieving the opposite. And I honestly feel the same. So unless you find yourself in court, you have no real reason to lie. If I'm forgetting another reason why you should lie, please leave it in the comments, because I can't think of any anymore. But yes, what do? I try to speak the truth all the time, and if I feel it is too personal, like not self-incriminating, but just more of a it's none of your business because you're not in my up close personal life. You don't need to know all the details. That stuff just gets omitted. What do I mean by that? Excuse me. What do I mean by that? Well, when a friend comes over and they're asking you, hey, what have you been doing the last 2 days? Well, are you seriously going to tell them every detail that you did for the last 2 days? Like, what if you were doing personal things? Like, a new relation is quietly starting for you, maybe. Like, do you really want to cover all of that on this random visit from your friend? Or do you just want to say, yeah, I've been keeping myself busy around the house with a couple of, projects. So you see, you're speaking the truth, and yet the truth really said nothing at all. You have kept yourself busy at home, which is the truth. But you see, that's what I mean. Learn to say a lot without saying anything at all. Or in other words, keep it very, very simple. Trying to think of another example that would, I don't want to say lying is good ever. It's like I said, in court, that's another thing. If there is legal ramifications, by all means, be careful with what you say. But when you're just having not random people that you know and co-workers and whatnot, what reason could you possibly have to lie? Like, unless you are doing illegal things. And even in that case, who's to say your co-workers might want to smoke some pot after work? I mean, pot is somewhere between legal and not legal. Like, half the states have now made it okay to enjoy every now and then, I suppose. But be careful with how much you say and to whom. And if you're like me, you're gonna make that a bit of a personal hobby to always speak the truth, but never really revealing the whole detailed basis of everything. Who needs to know that stuff? Your life is your business. And if somebody asks and you don't want to lie with the answer, here is a simple answer that you can practice. I don't have to tell you everything. I have a personal life. I respect you as my friend. I just was busy the last couple days. Let's go with that. You see, let them know in a friendly way that you are actively not lying, and you are also actively not just going to throw your whole life on a platter. You're just going to find the middle ground where everybody gets to know at least who you are. Like, you're not, oh, I was laying lazy on my couch all day and I watched TV, did nothing. Like, I just binge watched Netflix, YouTube, whatever. Well, no, you obviously did things. Do you want people to think you're a lazy bum? Like, I mean, there's plenty of people like that too. But like me, I like to be in my yard, under my back porch, in the shade, but right by the plants, by the grass, by my pool. I like to clean it. I got to mow my grass every weekend. So these are all things that I just do around the house, but I don't have to tell somebody, what did you do all weekend? Oh, I sat on my back porch, in the shade, under the trees, by the grass, by my pool. You see, if you got to reiterate your life every time somebody asks you, what did you do? There's no point in that. Just condense all of that in a very simple truth. I kept myself busy around the house with simple chores. You see, it's not a lie, it is the truth, but it is not detailed truth. So I choose to say it all and yet say nothing at all. And in hindsight, I felt for a long time a lot of the mystics were actually doing that too, like the Indian gurus and the channels and whatnot. They always speak in this weird. They're obviously saying things, but yet there is never any detail there. Like, you never really know what they're saying. And although lying is a bad subject to take this a little more in depth, I kind of get it now. Like, people concern themselves with the weirdest questions to create the illusion of safety, the illusion of security. That is really the reason why most of us ask constantly questions, to build a false sense of security in our head. Remember, when you ask anybody any question, whatever they answer, how is that proof that it is true? It's not. Even if they said, even if they said, I went to the beach in the Bahamas, and they give you a jar with clean white sand. Look, this is the sand from the beach. I caught it in a jar there to bring it home as a memory. That is still not proof. That sand could have come from anywhere. And I'm not saying when somebody presents proof it's always fake. I'm just saying it's a false illusion of the truth. Why? Were you on the beach with these people on the Bahamas when they put the sand in the jar? Did you follow the jar all the way home and watched it being put in its new resting place? Unless that is the case, it's a false sense of the truth. So you see what I mean? A lot of us are asking questions because we are. It's not that, yes, we want to hear the truth, but we're not really looking for the truth. We just really want to hear something. And if we hear inconsistencies, we'll make a big stink out of it, a big fight, a big argument where more lies are going to start piling up. Or we can just speak the truth, and the conversations will be much more to the point, much more rewarding. People will actually feel like they get to know the real you. That is actually another benefit of not actively lying. I'm not even going to say I never lie. I'm just going to say I do my utmost best to not speak lies knowingly. It just doesn't benefit anybody. And like I said, me around age 25, which is now 13 years ago, a lot of stuff started changing for me. I started looking for the meaning of life and everything that involves life. Lying is something everybody does, willingly, unwillingly, on purpose, not on purpose. You know, white lies, whatever you want to say about it. I just realized it doesn't matter what people say, whether it's the truth, a lie, or otherwise. Somebody always gets hurt. Somebody is always happy. If you hear what you want to hear, you're happy. If you hear what you didn't want to hear, you're sad. So, in that aspect, it doesn't really matter whether I say the truth or a lie. Because if you hear what you want to hear, you're happy. But if you're a person like me and you care for genuine people, I do not ever want somebody to say to me what they think I want to hear so I stay happy. No, I want you to always tell me how you feel, even about me. If I did something or I said something you don't like, just say it in a polite way. Like, how can I know if you pretend again that you like dinner? Yes, okay. Well, next time you show up, I'm going to probably cook that again or something similar because you said how much you liked it. The same thing goes with speaking the truth or lies. Do not say things for the sake of making the other person happy, especially if you know you're not speaking the truth. So, what if you're in a relation and the relation's been going on for months or years and you have built a certain level of, okay, my boyfriend, my girlfriend doesn't need to know everything because I know they're going to act jealous, they're going to possibly end the relation, who knows. If you are trying to really build up yourself, like I call it build myself up spiritual, like I'm a spiritual person now. I don't like to affiliate with any religion. I just believe in doing the right thing for me and everybody else. And for me, that includes not lying. And if people don't like that, that's fine. Stay away from me. I'll stay away from you. If you don't like genuine people, and believe me, there are people that cannot handle genuine people. It's it's too much for them. I don't know. People just like that whole shallow, let's all go along with a simple lie. I'm not like that. I'm sorry. I need real depth to a conversation and not this make believe stuff. But anyway, what if you're in a relation and that you've been keeping each other in check with very simple as where were you? Oh, just with a friend while you were actually hanging out with your ex boyfriend or ex girlfriend, whatever. Something very well your partner would not appreciate, but you don't want to lose hangout time with that other person, but you don't want to lose your current relation either. What do you do in cases like this? You have a choice. Keep it up the way. I mean, if you want to really build your spiritual, I would have a sit down with my partner and say, look, I want to better myself. It has nothing to do with you. I'm just wanting to be a better person for me, not for you or anybody around me. This is an internal process. I want to be a better person. I'm going to try my very best not to speak any more things that I know are not truth, things that I know you are not going to like. So, you see, have an actual sit down and be thoughtful. Tell your partner you have been thinking about life. You're trying to be a better person. You're trying to make yourself less stressed out, less anxious, less depressed, whatever. Lies add to these feelings too, believe it or not. Again, this is a mental baggage you carry. You have to keep up the lies and make sure you don't misspeak or, the inconsistencies begin. What can you do in this case? Like I said, I would have a sit down and tell your partner you are trying to better your life. You are trying to no longer lie. And if you feel that what you're about to tell your partner is going to hurt them, then tell them, I said, I am not intentionally trying to hurt you. I am simply no longer interested in giving these happy, fuzzy little white lies to make sure your feelings don't get hurt. I'd rather you know the truth so you can have a safe feeling that you know who I am and what I'm about versus this facade like, oh, everything's fine, you have nothing to worry about, I had a great day at work and I enjoyed time with my friends, while in reality you were actually hanging out with someone that your partner would not appreciate of. Why not simply tell them that you do like hanging out with that person because they are familiar with you, they are a form of comfort to you, and more than likely your partner is going your partner might assume you are cheating on him or her. I can promise you, when you speak the truth all the time, people are going to assume stuff regardless it's the truth or a lie. Assuming is something people just do. It's terrible. I try not to do it. As a matter of fact, I'm actively not assuming at all. When you say something, I just take it the way you said it, whether it's true or false. I really don't care. I'm not gonna get hurt. I know who I am, and whether you spoke a lie or the truth to me isn't gonna make any difference to how I feel about myself. That is, of course, more difficult when you're in relations. So, yeah, um, it's a hard bullet to bite. Like, it's if you want to be truthful, you're gonna have to not make exceptions. Like, okay, I'll be truthful to every new person I meet from now on, but the people that I've been lying to till now, let's just keep up the lie on those people. No, make up your mind. Either live a very simple, superficial life, or try to live on a higher level. Be truthful with yourself of all things. Yes, it is important that we speak the truth to other people, but I find it personally even more important that we are truthful with ourselves. When people ask you, "Hey, do you want to come bowling with us? It's been a while since we've hung out. Let's go bowling." See, for me, I would go bowling only for the activity itself, the bowling, but I would not go there because there is alcohol. I would not go there because there is 500 TVs on the wall playing sports and all that. I would not even say I'm going for the crowd. I am only going for the bowling. And I tend to tell people that invite me to things like that just that. Said, if I'm going for the bowling. So if we're just gonna sit there and all talk and the bowling is going at a super slow pace, that's not gonna happen a second time for me. It's as simple as that. You can call me an asshole for that, for not being part of the group, but I don't need an activity where we're all spending money to feel like we're doing something as a group. We can sit on the back porch here, everybody BYOB, bring something you enjoy to drink or smoke or eat, whatever. I don't need a bowling as an excuse to hang out. You see? And I get it, most of us are always home all the time, so we want some variation of scenery, I suppose. But again, I'm just truthful with myself. If we're going out to do an activity, the activity has to be the focus, not the excuse to leave the house. See, there's a difference there, and it borderlines again on lying for me. Why are you going out? Because you're bored at home, or because you actually want to do this activity? Lots of stuff to think about there. Maybe comment in the comments what is a lie that you know for yourself you say very often. For example, I'm fine. I think when people ask me that question, how am I doing? I I make it a point to not say I'm fine. I will say I'm hanging in there, just a long day at work, or I'm feeling more tired than usual, but I'm okay. You see, I will add something to that. Like, generally, it's whatever I say has to do with where my mood is, really. Like, I'm feeling really good today. Like, I had a good day. Like, everything went great at work, and at home, everything is clean. I'm happy. You see, again, I'm not saying everything that happened at work in great detail. I'm not saying what happened in detail at home. I'm simply saying I am happy because nothing really was out of ordinary for me today. It was actually an extraordinary day. And I try to express that when people say, "How you doing?" Well, I will simply say something that gives them a gauge on my emotional state during that time when they're asking the question. Even at work, coworkers that I almost never talk to, every now and then one punches out while you're punching in. A 30-second conversation happens there. Hey, what have you been up to lately? Same thing. I will not just say I'm fine. And although I don't necessarily know the person that's asking the question personally, if I'm not having a good day, I will say it in equally vague terms like, oh, yeah, I like talked to my dentist and the conversation didn't go too well. Or, see, like, I'm being clear. Something is on my mind, that is clouding me from having a good day right this particular moment. Something is on my mind. Just say something that gives the person a gauge on how you are emotionally. If you have to say it, I just broke up with my partner, I could do better. Say it. What's the worst that can happen? Are you feeling devastated? Are you feeling terrible, depressed, bored with your life, even, or devastated with your life? That's fine. No one asks you to say all these things. Just give people a general state of your emotional level. You'd be surprised how people might come back to you to just give you 5 seconds of make you feel better time. They might just give you a gentle comment like, oh, don't worry, life will pick you back up and everything will go better again sooner. Before you know it, the sun will shine again. Comments like that can make your life go up in value again. And what did you have to do for it? Nothing really. Just no white lies. No, I'm fine. Try to avoid that. Hi, Missy. I think this is officially the first video where my cat decided to sleep right next to me. That's okay. I think she's not been feeling too well today. I discovered today she puked on the couch. Why am I even saying it on a video? I don't know, but that's unusual. Like, I let my cat out every day, and lately she's struggling with that. I don't know. Maybe I should get her a different cat food. Anyway, guys, that was my video on lying. If you would like more details, if you still have questions regarding it, feel free to say something in the comments. Please do subscribe. Do recommend my videos to other people. I'm trying to go over 1,000 subscribers. And like the videos. And I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good day.